Hello and welcome to MotorCult episode 24. I'm Eric Berger, joined again by Ryan Sinitsky. Hello, sir.
Hello there. I'm actually saying hello this time because I've gotten over the fact that we're actually watching Le Mans.
Yeah, for anyone that just listened to 23, we're still right here. This
Yes.
is 24. That's kind of typically how it works week to week.
In fact, we still have Randy on for our first time
Randy
having
is,
a two-episode guest because we had more we wanted to talk about. So
Yeah, but we
Hi.
were also courteous of people's schedules and not
Yes.
wanting to listen to a 2-hour podcast.
yeah,
So-
and so I wanted to be able to get into some other stuff. We had a busy episode last time, and there's more that I want to talk about with Randy. But before we get into that, let's talk about beer.
Yes.
I'm not drinking what Berger's drinking because I don't like that beer all that much. I don't want to complain about it 'cause it's an all right beer.
I'm drinking a Leinenkugel Summer Shandy, which I don't seek this out. It's in the fridge.
It's
It's
fine.
fine. It's
It's a
better on a
perfectly fine
100-degree day.
I have a Excelsior Brewing Bitterschlap
Bitterschlap.
brown ale. We reviewed this a while back, but we had a few left in the fridge.
Nice.
Berger, crank up that mic so I can open this bad boy.
Ooh, that's nice. I would open mine, but it has been open for some time.
Yeah, it's fine. This one's good. Delicious. Anyway, before we get into the rest of our podcast, Randy, I wanted to talk to you about LGBT car culture. It's Pride Week, so I wanted to, the whole point of us doing our Pride Week thing is I want to talk about how there is a LGBT car culture, and really, they're normal people.
They
Like,
certainly are.
they're like there. Well, no, I mean like there's a lot of car people like don't talk to people from the LGBT community that much, and they have a stereotype in their head. LGBT car people, with the exception of 2 I've ever met in my life,
Yeah.
like you don't know that they just happen to be
Yeah.
part of the LGBT community,
Most
which
of
is
the
great.
LGBT people I know are car people.
Yeah, and they're it's whatever stereotype you have in your head does not exist. I mean, well, it does, but I mean, like that is such a small portion of the community that it really shouldn't even bear mentioning.
Are you sure? Because my stereotype of LGBT people is that they are into vehicles.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, well, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
like
I do, but I'm being obtuse and vulnerable.
So, like, they're not like, oh God, what was the guy from Wayne's World 2, Rip something or other, the guy. The guy's always throwing all the that guy.
yeah, the confetti guy.
The confetti guy, yeah.
Shoot, I forgot his name.
No, like when I think of them, when I think of like LGBT car people, I think, well, Randy.
Hi, Randy.
So anyway,
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
so you wrote for Lavender. What's your view on the LGBT car culture?
I hope we have plenty of time.
We do.
Well,
we went
first-
easy on this episode.
Oh, thank you. Well, first and foremost, I want to let everybody know that I had a little surprise at the end of last year. I was going to do a story on the local Lambda Car Club International region that's based here in the Twin Cities.
Wait.
What is that?
Wait. Is that the Traverse in the giant 3 rows from GM?
No,
The Lambda?
Wah.
The Lambda is not that chassis?
No. Well,
that's a chassis, but this
That's a
car club is
chassis.
different.
Oh, unrelated.
this is a car club.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Sorry.
No.
I was just making sure you weren't going to try to talk about 3-row crossovers on our podcast.
I refuse to.
good,
Anyway,
thank
but now we mention it. Traverse.
No! You go to hell and you die.
Atlas. Okay, there you go. No, Lambda Car Club International
Bastard.
was an organization that was created. I don't remember how long ago, but it was one of the first clubs I saw that catered to LGBT people, and it's a national organization. There was a region that got reconstituted recently, and there was a region before. Regions are pretty much like local chapters of X national
Yeah.
company organization. So the region out of the Twin Cities was reconstituted from members that broke away, and I was going to do a story on them, which I did. It turned out I became a board member. And
Funny how that works.
yeah, I know. It's like, here's somebody who could write. You be our communication social media guy. You also know social media. Oh, crap.
I was duped into being the BMW North Star editor.
I know you would.
3.5 years later, still here.
There you are.
Yep. But so that's what happened to me. And then, I mean, these guys are about my age and older, and I want to establish I'm almost in my mid-50s. And so And the stereotype, now we talk about stereotypes. Stereotypes of an LCCI member is one that owns like a car that was post-war,
Thank God, really.
at least mid-luxury American. So, but as I saw photos from last month's Grand Invitational in Nashville, there was a diversity. There was a couple of JDMs, by the way.
Oh, cool.
There was like a guy in Oshkosh that has an 80s Laurel.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
He likes the Laurel.
I love the Laurel. Yes, I
Yes,
do.
he does.
That is a great car to me.
And we had a guy that brought in a B210 Honeybee and
That's really cool, actually. A Honeybee? Really?
Honeybee. Yeah,
Because
but
that's actually a really rare trim level.
exactly. But most of the people I've seen have had like, say, a 58 Imperial or a 65 Oldsmobile 98 or like a 78 Thunderbird.
Do you think
or
that's
some
just
of that.
that's just what they were personally into? It's more of a representation of them as a person than LGBT car culture, because that's really what it is. It's,
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's where
they're
we're leading
people.
to.
They're
And
people.
That's what they're leading to. Is that the fact is that
I know it's
that's
shocking, right?
Yeah, I know, right? But that's
No,
stereotype.
this isn't Rush Limbaugh radio. I get that.
But this is more the stereotype that everyone thinks when we talk about LGBT enthusiasts, and there's a lot more than that, because for me, my job is peeling the onion back, and there's more onion.
You work for the Onion?
No.
Oh, and I wish they pay pretty good.
Oh, really?
That's a good company.
Good to know.
Yeah. It's like you peel the onion and you feel more. And then I ran into other groups of enthusiasts and people who gravitate to me and for my writing, and saw that I was writing mostly consumer reviews, consumer oriented.
One might call them consumer reports.
He doesn't write for them. Anyway.
Yes, Randy? How badly do you want to strangle me right now?
Quite.
None.
Oh, okay.
I won't. I never strangle the host, folks. When you're doing a show like this,
All right.
never strangle the host. Okay, so
I could bring Modi here.
Anyway.
He could probably take you.
So, yeah, probably. But anyway, so carry on. Please.
So yeah, I've met people who are LGBT that do motorsport stuff, LGBT who does modified cars, classic cars, modern cars, or those who go to certain groups on social media and say, look, I got a Focus sedan and I'm cool. It's everybody. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a very
it's-
diverse
it-
group.
Did they
it's-
mod it with Plastidip, though?
Oh, God.
That's next.
Okay.
And here I am, being a journalist and bringing in cars of all stripes and having, it's like, and finding out what the behaviors are. Because I've noticed that,
Behaviors of people or cars?
behaviors of people.
Okay.
Because when you will find out the differences between those that are, trying to think of a very clean word to use.
This is an explicit podcast, so you can say
I'm
whatever the hell
aware
you
it's an
want.
explicit
Okay, fine.
podcast, but I don't want to throw shade and
He,
all that
he
shit.
wants to be politically correct.
Oh.
No, I'm not trying to be.
You don't want to
political-
stoop to their level?
Nope. I don't want to. I don't want to bring this down, and everybody gets pissed off, and I call bullshit. But
Okay, all right.
but there's
If
a
you
lot.
need us to do that, we can do that for you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. But yeah, like I said, there's a wide diversity of people who love diverse groups of cars, and I'm just grateful to see that, and I'm also grateful for them to see me as a resource in the car community as well as in the media, and that makes it really makes this job really wonderful because. I'll bring in cars. They may be interested in the car. They might ask a bunch of questions. It's good to engage with that. And again, this is not a strictly LGBT invitation. This is
Right.
for everybody. So if you see me drive, say, like a month ago, I had the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. Boy, did they come out of the woodwork on that one.
No way.
Yeah, no way.
Such
yeah,
a common vehicle. I see them all the time.
exactly. Now, there's another aspect I definitely want to bring up, and
Okay.
that is, and this is the one of the through lines I've worked with through Lavender and other publications, is the fact that on we know the consumer side, we know
Yeah.
the community side,
Mhm.
but there's always this thing. One of the things that one of my colleagues told me is that you realize that most of your media colleagues are either Jewish or gay.
That's true.
And this is true.
Is
And-
there causation there?
Yeah, and I'm thinking there's both. I'm both. Hey,
Well, yeah, he's both. I'm Jewish.
Ryan
and-
is one of those two
Yeah.
things.
but I'm talking about automotive media,
Oh.
as you know, as Ryan is also a member of.
Yeah,
So
He's also a member of Judaism.
Well, kind of, sort of. But yeah.
I was just calling you a Jew. It's fine.
Yes, I'm a Jew.
Okay, cool.
and now the anti-Semitism is done.
It's not anti-Semitism. It's good.
It's just
Ryan's
Semitism.
Jewish qualities are my favoriteest qualities of him.
It's just Semitism. That's it.
yeah.
There we go.
Is there
Okay,
like
we'll drop the
is
anti
there like
on that one.
semi-pride or
I
something?
Luckily, we're not doing homophobia, but anywho.
Goodness, no. That is not what
Goodness,
we
no.
do.
So what I'm grateful for is that seeing a lot of my colleagues and
Who keep their vehicles in excellent condition, by the way.
who, yes, we do.
Every gay man I've ever worked on the car for, the car has been in like noticeably better condition than
That
any
is
other vehicle I
very
work
true.
on.
This is
It
extremely
is
true.
incredible.
Though I know a few that least to be desired, but I want to talk about the now I'm calling out
That's
to
what we
the
call a digression. Yes, it's fine.
but I was getting into the media stuff, so it's good to know that when I work in an industry that I have a lot of colleagues in the same who are from the same tribe or same tribes that helps me do my job a little bit better. Also,
Do they have reservations with casinos and stuff?
So anyway, actually, I do want to talk about somebody in particular from the LGBT community who I think is actually really interesting. This guy, his name's Brian Thompson. He
I guess I don't know him.
he's a designer. He used to work for Nissan. Worked under Jerry Hirschberg, he designed a lot of Nissan products in the late '80s, early '90s. The Sentras that we all like, the B13s and the B12s. The Nissan.
Did he design the Stanza wagon by chance?
No, he didn't.
Oh.
That was that was Giorgio Giugiaro.
Giugiaro.
No,
It shows.
Jerry Hirschberg. Yeah, I think the one you'd probably know most is the Nissan Pulsar NX N13.
Yep.
Yeah, so he designed that, and he's actually the guy that's responsible for making it have the canopy that would turn to a wagon. Really cool guy. But anyway, Brian, he worked under him a lot. Brian, the one you would know most that he designed would be the NV1500, the Titan delivery panel truck thing, which is awesome.
The body
That's
on frame van. Yeah.
honestly probably one of my favorite Nissans right now.
I love that video of the guy like drifting one of those things.
Yeah, they're
for-
great trucks. They're
Was
really
it Randy
cool.
Popst or was it somebody else?
I think it
doing
was
that?
Randy Post,
I think
but
so, too.
he
Not to be
also
confused with Randy Stern.
Brian also designed either the Citroen C1 or C2 while he was with Nissan.
Probably C2.
I think it was
I
the
think
C2.
the C1's a Toyota.
I think it's the C2 then. But no, he's actually a really interesting guy because he's got he does other designing stuff too. He doesn't just do cars. He does like jets and trucks and trailers and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, like he's like all over the place.
You're telling me he's very versatile.
Yeah, he's very versatile. So the guy's got some money, right? So with his money, what he has chosen to do with his life is what I would do if I had unlimited money, and that is take weird cars from the 1980s and do flawless rotisserie restorations. So he's got a Tercel SR5 four-wheel drive wagon.
Oh, those are so cool.
Yeah. He's got this is his Nissan Sentra. He's got a
Wow, that thing looks so mint.
he's got dude's rotisserie restoration N12 Sentra.
Damn.
He's got
Whoever does that is very unhealthy.
dude, I love Brian because he just does the things I would totally do if I had the money for it. He's
That's
got
great.
the best first generation Camry you've ever seen in your life. It's actually nicer than the one that Toyota has.
Wow.
He's got a first generation Wagavan, all sorts of just ridiculous cars. And if you're wondering what
Does
he
he have
looks,
a Stanza wagon?
I think he either
He
did
should if he
or he's
doesn't.
looking for one.
Okay.
But this is what he looks like. He is
Okay.
a giant, burly-chested bodybuilder with a huge mustache.
I was going to
and
say
wears
he has a
tiny shorts.
mustache.
Yeah, and here, I'll
Randy wants to look at the phone to
here, one
investigate his,
second. Yeah, but I'll give
his
you
apparel, I think.
That's how this is how he dresses normally. I am showing Randy a picture of him wearing tiny shorts. This is what my face looks full of. I don't not.
That's all right. The camera's just off of where Randy will be
thank,
fapping. It's okay.
Thank God it's not something I have to regularly deal with.
And my partner will kill me.
Don't worry.
But-
It's off frame. There's nothing happening.
That's okay.
No,
Jason will be listening.
I ran into Brian because I was actually writing an article about the Nissan Pulsar for Japanese nostalgia car for one of those weird like entry level classic cars that people should really pay more attention to. Called Consider the Following.
Weird. I feel like we're talking about this.
And he's like, oh, dude, here. He's like super helpful. Gave me a ton of information. Anyway, in talking to him, like, the guy's actually really interesting. So, but it's one of those things where it's like,
Dude, of course he is. He did a rotisserie resto on an old Pulsar.
the guy's awesome.
Like, he's not a normal fella.
No, he's
all
not
right?
a normal guy at all. But it's one of those things like
Normal people.
he's
piss me
he's
off, so
he's
it's fine.
definitely like he's more like what you would imagine as an LGBT car enthusiast.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, he's also probably one of the 5 most interesting people in the car community I've ever talked to. So
Well, I'll tell you, where we're riding off on that is the other thing I've been covering for all the years I've been involved with media, and that's going back all the way to 2001 with a small website out of Chicago, is the fact that I've been also grateful to be introduced to a lot of people on the industry side, not just dealership people, but also we're talking about people at the industry. Right?
like
at
actual OEMs.
Right,
Yeah.
actual OEMs. Like, for example, I'm going to call out somebody, Cadillac engineer, a Cadillac designer, actually. His name is Savian Blake. He does a lot of work with the arts and science design inside. I think he does more interior than exterior. Really interesting, very sweet fella, really knows his shit. And very, very grateful to met him and other people across the industry, and they're all over the place. They're even on the floor of the of assembly plants. 3 years ago, I was in Detroit for.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yeah. He goes to Detroit a lot.
Not more than not. I would like to go to. Well, actually, it's now. Yeah.
I would not want to go to Detroit ever.
Well, it's for work. That's all I got to tell you. It's for work. So 3 years ago, Fiat Chrysler brought me out.
Fiat
Fiat.
Chrysler.
Let
Fiat
me roll
Chrysler.
that back here.
I've got a couple of Fiats, man.
So
Anyway.
Fiat Chrysler flew me out for what we call a corporate corporate responsibility trip, seeing what they're doing with the LGBT community through their employee resource group. Now, a employee resource group is at in every company you have a specific culture. They have it's a group of employees of that specific culture, so they're called employee resource groups. They tie in back with human resources and try to create more of a diverse policy.
Policy,
community and also HR policy as well. So I was grateful to have met the people from Fiat Chrysler's Gala, which is their ERG over there. And I also had a chance to meet with GM's group as well as Ford's Globe, which actually is Ford tied in with UAW. So 3 years ago, I was at Motor City
UAW
Pride.
is United Auto Workers, a big
Thank
auto worker union. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
one.
But with those groups and meeting the people and the personnel and of the Ford group, I met more on the floor factory people. They were working at the Louisville truck plant.
Yeah.
So, and they were marching in Detroit with some of the UAW reps and some of the Ford.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get to meet those people. And with Fiat Chrysler, the head of it at the time, Gregory, was a designer for Mopar, which is the aftermarket division for Fiat Chrysler.
Yeah.
So meeting those people and meeting other people who do PR, which is usually the first people I interface with at the corporate level, it tells me that my work could be relatively easy to do when you're connecting with these people. In all honesty, it's just as hard as being just a regular media person connecting with a regular PR person, but understanding the motivation of reaching out to LGBT, which is they want our money.
No way.
Yeah.
Shocking.
A company
Yeah. They
that
want
sells goods and services wants money.
Exactly, and the bottom line is that they're willing to do whatever to cater to our taste,
Oh, my.
to cater to our, our consumer wants and needs. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to simple commerce.
And I'm totally down. I'm totally down with catering to different communities as long as you're not pandering to them.
Exactly.
Because there's so often you see a company that just like panders to a community, and it's just like they'll have like the big pickup truck and they'll be playing like the village people with a big flag in the rear. It's just like, okay, cool. What are you actually gonna do for that community though?
Right.
And that's actually that it's cool that they're actually like catering to it versus pandering. Catering is actually a big. That's a big deal.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and I will respect any company, and I love working with those companies, whether they're OEMs, suppliers, dealerships, even media companies that cater,
Well, even
and that's important.
Cummins, they've
Yes.
got a plant in town here in Minnesota, and they cater to the LGBT community as well, which is really cool.
Cummins is a big one that supports us, and matter of fact,
It's really ironic because that's like the token like engine of like bros and
Intolerant folks.
intolerant white supremacists. Anyway,
You don't see a lot of
outspoken people.
you don't see a lot of like Subaru Forester owners driving Cummins Rams as their second vehicle.
Actually, Subaru was the first brand that really kind of cater rather than pander
They were-
to the LGBT.
they were
And
the
look where it
first
got 'em.
one.
Yeah, because like back in the '90s, didn't they had the ad campaigns where
Yes.
they'd have like
Martina.
Martina
Never
they'd
Clover.
have like little subtle cues to LG like in the license plates of the cars that they chose.
Nice.
Like it was kind of cool if they did that.
It wasn't like the Top Gear subtle hints on the license plates
Yeah,
with the
exactly.
Porsches
Yeah.
in Argentina.
No, they were subtle. It was kind of the same style, but it was kind of cool if they did that. And that was like way back in the '90s before it was cool to do that. So that's kind of another reason why I think Subaru is really cool to do that. But anyway,
Can't
I
fault
think
them for that.
from Subaru, let's move on to Toyota.
Let's indeed.
They one of my favorite Toyota engines ever.
Yeah.
Was
Was it a Yamaha designed engine? by
Yeah,
chance?
Yamaha Silver Red.
Oh,
Yeah, the
Oh.
2ZZGE.
no, that's a fully Yamaha.
That's
designed
full
engine.
Yamaha?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I drove a Matrix XRS.
The hard points are like lightly based on the 1ZZ, which is a Toyota engine.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but
they
no,
just
the
ground up built it.
I drove a Matrix XRS the other
Yes.
day at
Lower
at
red
work.
line, but still a very good representation of the
you still have
DDTLI engine.
a hilarious amount of power. 'Cause
Oh
the
yeah,
thing
it's still
is,
7,800 RPM.
the 2ZZ it drives like a 1ZZ, which
Yep.
like the red line's like 6 or something.
6750.
Yeah, and you're like, this is plenty, and then you look at your tachometer and you're like 4/5 of the way up. You're like,
Yeah.
whoa, what is
Like,
this?
oh,
I
you're
got
looking down to
20%
see if you
more
should shift.
RPMs. No,
Not so. No, yeah, the 2ZZ is great. They rev to I think 8,500 in the Celica.
yeah,
and
they're
the Lotus.
great engines.
And other than the oil pump gear is being slightly deficient from the OE, whatever, you can fix that pretty
yeah,
easily.
jeez, that's
Yeah, I want to talk about this. I actually, I'm not going to take credit for this. Our patron Nick, who we were talking about in the last episode, he sent me
Yes.
last night a link to an Amazon warehouse deal rebuilt 2ZZGE long block for $1,000 primed.
fuck off, really.
Yeah, it's in my cart right now, and I
Dude,
can't.
I can buy. I would buy that.
There's no longitudinal transmission for it.
I don't care.
No, to put it in anything that I would ever put it in, it needs to be longitudinal. Like a 2ZZ in my 2002 would be great. It'd be cool, but there's no longitudinal
Mondial.
transmission. No, not enough torque.
AW11,
That would be great.
SW20,
in it. Yeah.
ZZW30,
Anything transverse would be fabulous, yeah.
AE101 Corolla.
Weird. It's like it's the transmission donor for your Mondial Dilemma
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
That's really the whole story. But yeah, he sends me this link. I'm
You
like,
should-
okay, I'll play along. I
You
click
should
on it.
send
and
me
it's-
that link as well.
It's a rebuilt Toyota 2ZZGE long
how much,
engine.
How much horsepower does a 2ZZGE make?
197.
197?
Yep.
Oof. That will fit a lot of cars I like.
8,500. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Again,
that.
if there was, I just was doing research.
Ah,
That's
damn
why I
it,
wasn't paying attention.
You know what?
No
There's-
longitudinal box.
I was just thinking because I'm like, there's 3 cars that came to mind. I'm like, shit, those are all rear-wheel drive. Because I'm like,
That's the thing.
Corona, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Rear-wheel drive Celica, shit. Mark II Celica Supra, shit.
But it's The list price on this engine is $3,755.
I know. Those
and
are
one
a
of them
very
must
good
have been
price.
returned because it's in warehouse deals for $1,051.12.
Buy it. Let's go find you. I'll find you something cool to put it into.
It's in my cart, so I'll watch the price on it. If it dips below $1,000, I'll just buy it for fun.
Because I think my first thought was a first generation Tercel, another car that Brian has and has done a perfect restoration on, but a first generation
It
Tercel.
would have to be front wheel drive though.
They
Really.
are.
I know.
No, the one before that, the one that was based off of the Corolla. I'm pretty sure that was a transverse engine.
Yeah, I'm
'cause
sure
those
it
were
was.
front wheel drive.
And
Or a
again,
90s Tercel.
It would be great in any of those transverse Toyotas, but like I want to put it in a longitudinal BMW.
You know, this could all be a quasi Mondial dilemma.
It could be,
But
the 2002 dilemma.
Yeah.
But think about where this car has been, where this engine's been installed.
Yeah.
Well,
The
it's been
Lotus
rebuilt.
Elise,
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah. There's so many good
Exige.
cars. Yeah.
I mean,
The
Celica
Vibe GT, all these prestigious marks.
well, no, I mean, like,
that's
no,
the laugh.
The thing is that the 2ZZ is the most underappreciated good engine
Oh,
I
totally.
can think of.
It's like an F20, but it doesn't get any notoriety.
No, because it was only in like
Boring stuff.
transverse.
Although a Matrix XRS would be pretty cool.
Or a Corolla XRS, which
Mhm.
looks like a totally normal 2003 Corolla, which
Yeah.
is the most boring Corolla.
Yes, and it has 200 horsepower and a 6-speed manual.
Yeah, and it's just a hilarious car.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh, such a sleeper.
Back in the day when I was going out street racing, there was a guy who rebadged one as a LE and took all the.
Oh, really?
It was really funny.
Oh, man.
Do it.
Well, they didn't have like a very pronounced body kit on them.
No, but if
Over
you
the
knew what
S.
you were looking for,
Right.
but this guy, he had like I think like mismatched rotas on it or something.
Oh, man.
Like it was a garbage looking car. It was definitely like
That's
a winter
awesome.
beater.
Awesome.
But he
It
had-
probably had like a Celica ECU in it and stuff.
Yeah,
with a higher
and-
red line. And,
But he rolled to like Integra GSRs, like gutted out and stuff,
oh, dude.
and like rev at him with his fart can, and then be like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna embarrass this Corolla. And then go do a 40 roll, and he would just he would just pull his penis right out, and just lay it on the table. And they're like, he'd get like
Oh
he'd get
my
like
god, you're a tripod.
He get like two, yeah. He would get like 2 or 3 car lengths on him, and it would just be hilarious.
I mean, that's probably better than having an overly exaggeratedly impressive looking car
Yeah,
with not as much
it's a
power.
sleeper. Yeah, it's nothing better than that. Because
yeah,
it's
like-
so funny.
Like under badging a car and
Yeah,
then going and humiliating people. That's kind of the exact opposite of what the companies like did in the 80s in Germany.
Yeah, where they'd over
It's just like we
exaggerate 'em.
wouldn't really do anything with the power, but we would put these like 3-foot wide wheels on the back and side vents on a front engine car.
Oh my god. Well, to be fair though, it wasn't the companies that did that. Those were aftermarkets.
Well,
and-
I know, yeah.
Still,
It was like
those were-
BBS and Koenig and all that
Koenig,
kind
yeah,
of stuff.
Koenig, Brabus,
Yeah.
Gambala.
Oh god. Ooh, oh.
By the way, fuck off. I love the Gambala Avalanche. It's one of my favorite cars from the
I'm
80s.
trying to think of the other company that. You keep talking.
No,
I'll
there
think
was that.
about this.
What was a Porsche one? It started with an S.
Yeah.
I sent it to you. I sent you a link from that BAT for the.
Schnitzer.
Yeah, AC. No, not AC Schnitzer.
No, it's BMW.
Oh, never mind.
The ME even Honda's got them. There were the ME
I was thinking
edition
of
CRXs.
Rinspeed.
Rinspeed, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then there was also a company that did it for like Honda's called ME edition, which made.
What a Japanese name.
No, this is German.
Really?
Yeah,
I meant the word
look
edition in
look
it.
up on your computer the ME Edition CRX. It's a wide body CRX. It looks rad. But anyway, no, Koenig. Actually, I was doing some research on them because I found a Porsche that was a wide bodied out,
Oh.
and that just
that
went
is
down a
super
rabbit
cool.
hole. But yeah, isn't the ME Edition CRX hilarious looking? That thing is so cool.
It looks like a mini Renault Espace.
Yeah, it does. And imagine because
That
you
is
can.
so rad.
Yeah,
Oh, it's all smooth and stuff.
it's super cool.
Oh man.
But anyway, so Koenig, you can
I
still
think
get.
Randy's dying.
Yeah, Koenig, you can still buy the body kits. They're still
Oh
around.
no.
Wow.
Like from Koenig?
Yes, they make
Not
them.
like Craigslist special.
no, like
takeoffs.
actually Koenig specials, Koenig specials.
I understand.
It's what for our listeners.
Oh.
that thing we're talking about, the
Like
garbage wheel company.
.net? .net?
I have their page pulled up. I think.
That was a joke from
okay.
episode 23.
Yes.
Spelling out .net.
No, they're still around. Actually, that company
Just like
has,
Callaway, they'll sell you a full aero body still, brand new.
That's true. Yeah. But no, these are like these companies have the best stories. You know,
They have the best stories.
I'll talk about Uwe Gambala in a minute.
And how he went missing.
Yeah.
Was dead.
But first we're gonna talk about Koenig because Willie Koenig, the patron behind, or the guy behind Koenig, he made all of his money from book publishing.
I hate him already.
But I mean, like, that's a normal job. Like, if you're looking to make
still hate
7
him.
figures, that's a pretty safe way to make 7 figures. And
I still
so
hate books.
what he did is he had gotten into racing. So he started out with
Like horses?
no, like Borgward, Isabellas, and like whatever cars from Germany.
Cars.
Yeah, car racing. But then when he started making more money, he started going into like Ferraris and stuff. Anyway, he got a Ferrari 512 BB.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, this isn't what I wanted. It's kind of like underwhelming because he got his ass kicked in a race. So he put on like a performance exhaust and wider wheels and stuff. And it kind of snowballed from there. And eventually he sold his publishing business outright to just make stupid wide body supercars. So he made like a wide body 560 SEC. And then he made, that's like my,
The
one of my
SEL
favorite.
is even stupider.
Yeah. And then they have like the wide body, Subaru. They made the SELs. No, Cefiro. That's what it was. Cefiro made the wide body SEL. But no, he also made a wide body Testarossa, a car that definitely did not need to be wide bodied. And he also made a wide body Countach, another car that
car did not need more wide body.
No, but he definitely made it wider. And then he also made a Testarossa that made like 700 horsepower or something and had like an 800 horsepower F40. But anyway,
Well, that's just turning up the wick a little bit.
yeah. But I mean, like the Testarossa was.
Oh, yeah.
That was a
that
massive
would be tough.
jump.
Yeah.
But
Like that 40 is just like, let me just screw this bolt in a little bit.
yeah, exactly. But no, he actually went like about it to actually like make these cars faster and made these as race cars. And I love the fact that the 560 SEC was designed to be a performance 560, and they
Which
put
it
this
so
stupid wide
wasn't.
body on to make it because nobody ever bought the performance parts for it. The 560, it was a bunch of like Playboys in the 1980s that bought them, but they actually did have a version that was faster than the AMG.
Okay.
But anyway, so that's what they did, and they also had a manual one if I'm not mistaken.
AMG did 5 manuals.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, Koenig offered a manual, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway,
No, that one I'm actually very confident on.
you're confident that? All right, so
The amount of endless hours I've researched the 117 in manuals, I found everything that there's ever been,
everything
including
that's ever existed. So
5
I think
manuals
it
made
might
by
have been like an
AMG.
AMG one that ended up getting a body kit
They
on it.
made 5
But anyway,
with a Getrag 265.
so a lot of these companies did not turn out well.
No
I
way.
mean, Koenig's still around. They're pretty good because their products are actually really well made, and they were kind of they started.
Well, they followed the market a lot more after that.
Yeah, well, not only that, they started this whole wave. But like Uwe Gambala from Gambala, which made that super awesome cocained out like wide body Porsches, got in trouble a lot.
No way.
For laundering money for Colombian drug
Did
cartels.
he perchance live in South Africa?
No, he didn't. He lived. I'll get to that in a second. He actually lived in Germany, and what he would do is drug cartels would buy cars from them.
Okay.
Send him the car, or he would send the car to them.
Yeah.
They'd send him back the car with a car full of cash,
Okay.
saying it needs a quote unquote repair.
Oh.
And the repair would be like $100,000 or something. He would launder the $100,000, keep a little bit of it, send back the car with most of the cash left in it.
Yeah.
And so he was laundering money for drug cartels. Anyway, he got in trouble for that. Somehow it ended up in South Africa. And I guess his, crime-ridden past caught up to him because,
Yeah.
about 10 years ago, he was found dead.
No, it was 2 or 3 years ago.
No, it was like 2011, 2013 or something. So I guess it was like 5 years
Probably.
ago. But anyway,
Right.
yeah, but no, he was found dead in South Africa. Like, he got killed by his like actual drug running problem. So, yeah,
Wow. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, 2011,
2010.
2010. Yeah, so it's about 10 years ago.
Huh.
But it's just, of course, that happened.
Yeah.
Like, for a car that looks like that, like a car known for being owned by drug dealers, there was merit to that.
Weird. Thought they were not dangerous folks at all.
Kel surprise.
No, these.
Quelle surprise.
I'm not gonna take up the whole episode talking about wide body '80s cars. I'll bring it back later and talk about like the Cefiro Super 8 or something.
Well, I want to talk about something 80s then if you're done.
Yes, go for
I
it.
want to talk about my BMW 850,
That's a '90s car.
which I drove here. It was designed wholly in the 1980s.
It shows.
Yeah.
I love that car.
I know, it's great. I drove it. It's wonderful. The battery's all charged up and stuff. Took it to a car show this morning, but yeah, I drove it here. And as I was looking to fill out this podcast with my own topics, I came across the finally unearthed photos of the production BMW 8 Series, the new one.
Did you see the 8 Series Le Mans car?
I did not.
It actually looks really cool.
Well,
It's
hopefully we see that on the stream.
yeah,
then.
it's the M8 Le Mans. It looks great.
That answers one of the parts of my questions. Are they going to do an M8?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's a Le Mans car, and it looks fucking sick. And
Well,
I do not want that
good.
M8 at all, but the Le Mans car looks
I
cool.
like the one M8 they made from the E31 generation, which had the McLaren F1 engine. It was a full carbon fiber tub.
Perfect.
It was really excellent. It went to Pebble Beach for the 100-year anniversary, and I was pissed that I missed it. But anyway, I pulled up this thing, I looked it over, and I read through an article. Unfortunately, it was titled, "The New BMW 8 Series Unveiled, a car that promises to be the car the old E31 never could be." So I had to click on it.
That sounds clickbaity.
It was, and I
Clickbait.
clicked on it, and I'm just like, they go on to say like it's pledging to be this this new taut handling sports car. I'm like,
That's
well,
not
no
supposed to
shit,
be
the
that.
E31 didn't live up to that because it wasn't designed,
It was a
engineered, or
GT.
sold as that. It was a GT, personal luxury coupe.
Yeah, it was designed to shit on
The
Aston
car is
Martins.
fabulous,
Huh.
exactly, and it was way better than the Astons of the day, and still some current ones. But anyway, I'm curious. You already answered that they're going to do the M8, but like I think this just looks like a 6 Series with slightly deeper scallops. It
That's
looks like
kinda
a
how
6
I
Series
feel.
facelift.
That's kind of how I feel. Well, my thing is, the thing that made the E31 what it was,
Yeah, cocaine.
no, full of headlights.
Oh, well, that's secondary.
No, I think that was,
The headlights flip up so you can do lines of coke off of
yeah.
them.
But I think the flip-up headlights
Right?
really, that was the main design feature of that car. If you don't have flip-up headlights on that car, it's like trying to make a Countach without flip-up headlights.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. And that's exactly what made that car what it is. If it wasn't for flip-up headlights, it was just a big-ass 6 Series.
You know what? The one thing about the E31 8 Series is the fact that it was designed to be a very special car. And I usually talk about special cars, meaning that these are in a level for which only a few people should get them, only a few people should own them, and
I
they
am
should
pretty
be,
special.
yeah, you are. But anyway, what I'm talking
I
about
own
back
one.
when it was due was it was positioned at a much higher level. So we're talking about maybe close to Bentley, close to
Yeah,
SL.
The
Like
sticker
Astons
on my
and
car in
stuff.
1991 was $127,000.
And that's
By comparison,
exactly.
Randy, by comparison, in 1991, a Lamborghini Countach was $100,000.
Exactly.
So this was
My car cost more than a Countach.
yes, it did.
Yes, it
Um,
was.
That was,
So-
that was a bad move, whoever bought my car.
So the thing is that this is a car that if they're going to sell the 8 Series today, that has to be on par with an Aventador
yeah.
for
And it won't be.
price and for luxury materials.
Actually, closer to a Wraith, to a Rolls-Royce Wraith.
Well,
would
no, I
be
mean,
price-wise.
I'm saying as far as well, I mean, if they're trying to keep up with what they were doing before,
Right.
like,
But it sounds like
that's-
they're going
yeah.
a completely different direction with it. They're trying to
However,
make it a sports car.
I don't want it to be a sports car.
I don't either. It's not what the 8 Series should be.
no. However, though, I will argue that I think they're designing it as a GT because I'm looking at this and I'm looking at what's going to be up against. It's going to be up against Lexus LC. It's going to be up against Maserati Gran Turismo.
Yeah, personal luxury coupes.
Exactly. Well,
They're not
more like a
sports
Gran
cars.
Turismo
Yeah, but I mean,
versus anything.
Yeah.
to be fair, I mean, a lot of these cars today that are personal sports coupes or luxury vehicles, PLCs, they really do kind of have handling that's on par with 80 sports cars. 'cause
Oh, they
80
do.
sports car
Yeah.
handling was nothing to write
Truth
home
be told,
about.
the 850 handles really well.
Yeah,
It does. Like, it's not a problem, but, like, it's not a sports car. It's
No.
a very heavy vehicle designed to eat miles.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
That's why I think it's more like a Continental GT than it is anything like that.
yeah. So, well, in the Continental GT, I think that's a car that's been around for a really, really, really almost 20 years.
Yeah, I think the first one was made. It was etched out of granite.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a car that you really, it's in a class of its own. Like right now, it's a benchmark for, GT cars.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And I feel like that's a benchmark that can easily be taken down a peg.
Yeah.
I think if BMW plays their cards right, they could easily take that down a peg and make
they're willing to
make
price
the
it
de
high enough,
facto, GT car.
But I think, like Randy was saying, I mean, if it's priced near a Wraith, I mean, it's got to be.
No,
gotta
it won't
really
be
nice.
actually.
I know it won't be because I've seen the pictures of the car.
No,
and
it's
it's clearly
definitely
based on a 6 Series.
Well, it's clearly going to be, and I keep hearing British prices, but I'm assuming we're talking maybe if there's an M8, it will probably be topping around 150, 200.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. So, but
This isn't an 8 series.
Let me guess, it's going to have a 4.4 liter twin turbo V8.
Well, as I'm looking at the press page for this, the first car that's coming to America is the M850i X-Drive with 523 horsepower.
Definitely that engine.
So it's definitely an 8. So the only thing is
Wake
would
me
be
when it's the 6.75 liter Rolls V12.
That's the thing.
no,
that's
they're not putting that thing in there.
Well, that's the thing. This car, to keep up with what it is, it has to have a V12. The 8 cylinder is not going to cut it.
Nope.
Because
It's not
it's
gonna
kind
be
of
special.
it's kind of like what we were talking about the last episode, where people like play off of numbers, and that's why a lot of people make mistakes on the BRZ.
Yep. You buy the highest number BMW, you want the highest numbers with your BMW.
Exactly. You buy the 8 Series because it's higher than a 7.
Right.
You buy the 8 Series because it's got the 12 instead of the 8.
Right.
If
That's
you
why
can't
I look
afford,
down upon people at the 840s.
if you buy an 8 Series base model with an 8 cylinder, you buy that because you want to look like you got 12 cylinder, but really you're just a plebeian.
Yep.
You're a mid-level manager.
Take the badge off.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're absolutely right. The M850i X-Drive. That's a lot of,
No, it rolls right off the tongue.
It
And
rolls
it's an
up,
X-Drive.
Yeah.
That's another issue.
Which means it's not sporty.
exactly. So
It's
latest
got dumb
generation of
all-wheel drive.
4.4 liter 8-cylinder
Called
twin
it.
turbos. Yep. So yeah,
So it'll last 60,000 miles, then you got to replace it. Cool. Sounds good.
yeah. So there you go.
Doesn't sound that great.
All right, I depressed myself talking about that. I'm going to enjoy my drive home with my real 8 Series.
Yeah, there we go. I think it's our bombshell at the end of the episode.
Ugh.
Well, I'm gonna talk about something completely different.
You
in
know,
every
actually,
way.
I welcome whatever you're going to talk about right now, because now I'm sad
Yeah.
about the 8 Series.
This one's actually a really cool story that I found actually on Jalopnik, or not Jalopnik, off of Marine Trailer originally. Then Japanese Nostalgia Car picked it up.
That is way different than Jalopnik.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Jalopnik did do an article on it. I think after the Japanese Nostalgia Car one came out, as per
Oh, weird.
usual.
I was going to say, that seems like a pattern with them.
Yeah, I know, right? So there is a extremely rare pre-war 1936, 1940, somewhere in that ballpark, Datsun Type 17 did not have a title. But that was available. That was being sold in the United States. It was likely the last one left of its type. There were a couple other variants of it that were for sale in like Japan, but none of them exist in the United States. This is based off of the Austin 7, which is like the English version of Model T. However, because Japanese Nostalgia Cars ever diligent, Ben did some. I think it was Ben. Is your Ben or Dan, his brother? That did a lot of research on this.
Dan's a photographer or Ben is?
No, well, they both are. Dan is Ben's brother. Dan Su. Ben
Well,
Su.
I knew that, but I didn't know who we were typically seeing photos from and who we were seeing.
Oh, they
articles
both take photos just as much. Ben's the one that does. He's the showrunner, though. It's actually not a pre-war car, so I'm going to take that bell off. So let me just go ahead and... There we go.
The damage is done.
Make a ding, but it didn't.
from. Here, use the chime.
It's actually... Yeah, there you go. Our
All right.
anti pre-war.
Is that our post-war chime?
Or post-war chime. Yeah, we're just going to ring it constantly. This car actually is even more rare because right after World War II, they had an extremely rare continuation version where they slightly changed the cars, like ever so slightly, did some different body styles. like utes and stuff. But
Like the Holden Maloo.
kind of, yeah. This one is the rarest double cab, which is basically a tiny pickup bed with a 4-seater interior, which is actually also a ute. It is likely not only the only one in America, it is most definitely the only one left in existence. Because, like, the early 60s and late 50s Nissan, like, other trucks don't even exist. Like, the Nissan DB6, there's 3 left in the world. You okay there, Burger?
Are you sure the DB6 isn't like a lost Aston Martin or something?
No, it sounds like that. When you type it in, you get mostly pictures of Aston Martins. You have to actually go on Japanese and South to get a picture of
So
it.
what you're saying is you have to turn safe search off.
Basically, yeah. It's the DB6 actually I think might be one of the best looking Nissans made prior to the Z car.
Okay.
It's a really pretty streamlined delivery truck. But yeah, so whoever buys this 1954 Datsun 6741 double cab is actually getting it the rarest piece of Japanese automotive history. But it's cool how they figured it out was we did research based off of the license plate. The license plate did not make sense for what the car would have been if it was pre-war. Because in Japan, when you get a license plate, it's for the life.
The car.
It's for the life of the vehicle.
That's like,
So this is
British.
definitely a 19. Yeah,
like Brexit.
yeah. It's a 1950s license plate, so that could not have been pre-war. They did some more research into it. They go into more depth on the article, but they actually found out that it was a post-war car. So
Good.
yeah, props to Japanese Nostalgia Car for being the only publication to make that happen. But yeah, I thought it was actually really, really, really cool. What you are making a face?
Jana just sent me a text message.
Yes,
They have a new style of Super Jumbo Pusheen.
that's fantastic.
She says MotorCult needs one now too.
Yes, I think we do.
Speaking of Pushins, I'm looking
that
at
is
this
an excellent segue. Thank you,
car.
Randy.
It looks like it's as epic, all right? Because the fact is that, again, you're talking about the history of this vehicle and how it was reconstituted after war, which, of course,
Yeah.
you know, considering that the Japanese automotive industry was bombed to bits.
We are considering the following.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay, great. Sorry.
you're
Yeah.
away from the mic.
I was away from the mic because I'm looking at the thing at the same time here, but I'm just looking at this. This is epic, and the story behind it about the guy bringing it back to now it's in Northern Virginia.
Yeah,
So again, whoever buys this vehicle not only is looking at history in the face, but he's looking at something that is a conversation piece that should continue on, because you can't just look at this, buy it, and forget it.
yeah,
You have to tell the story over and over again about why this vehicle matters and why it mattered at that time, 1954,
Why it's
with a
significant.
country that's rebuilding.
yeah. I would say that this is honestly probably, you know what? This would be a big jump. This is the single most important Japanese vehicle prior to the 240Z.
I'm gonna take your word for it because I have no fucking clue.
Well, because you're also, when I say that, I'm also writing off the Cosmo, the 2000 GT, a lot of really important cars.
Cars I like.
Even
Yeah.
Bluebirds.
Yeah, Bluebirds.
Okay.
This one is very, very, very important because this is the last surviving piece of an era of Japanese history that nobody knows about. Like there is
that's
more there's more information available to the public
Yeah.
about pre-war Bugattis and Citroën and Austin and like what Ferdinand Porsche was doing before World War II
Yeah.
than there is of this car. I got an article. It's still
Well,
brewing
then
in JNC, but
that's a period in time where like most, if not all, modern manufacturers, we can either like point it back to they were doing nothing, or they were doing like airplanes.
yeah. And
Exactly.
well, and then also there was the early 50s for imported cars is very interesting because stuff like this
Yeah.
set the stage for everything that happened after that.
Okay.
And that's what's so important about this car
Sure.
is everything that happened between really about 1940 1946 and I'd say 1962, the 1950s in Japan,
Yeah.
was a really, really huge change for the Japanese automotive landscape. Because you were having things like this, which were really just pre-war Austins being made.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say Austin, I mean Austin 7, not Austin Healey or anything. It's a different car
Right.
company.
Right.
Pre-war
Well,
Datsun's
Seven's
basically
kind of the
being made.
precursor of the Caterham and stuff too.
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly. But the thing is, within 3 years of this car being made,
Yeah.
Prince, which Nissan would go on to buy, they were making the Skylines.
Didn't he die
and-
2 years ago?
Yes. No, this is a car company that was called Prince after Prince Akihito bought one.
Of course. Oh my god. Japanese culture is so
I know,
different.
right? But no, like this is the same company really that would go on to produce the Skylines that we know 10 years later.
All right.
And the company that was designing the Skyline was already designing the Skyline at the time that this car was made. So this is such a weird landscape that you were having a car really from 1936 being made at the same time as a car from 1957.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a massive, weird thing that does not happen anywhere else in the world except for in 1950s Japan.
Right.
I think that that's just the coolest thing on earth.
Yeah.
And do keep in mind what happened afterwards is that effect. I mean, we did get a lot of the late 50s stuff. I mean, finally when Toyota created in
Yeah,
58. And then, of course, Nissan came in and eventually Honda motorcycles. But
It was
the fact
Toyota,
is,
Honda, Nissan, yeah,
yeah,
in that order.
pretty much.
Subaru.
Well, it's 69. Thank you, Malcolm.
Yeah.
Anyway, but again, it's like you see that jump from that pickup to what was being brought over in 58, 59 in
2
LA.
years, yeah. Like you see that next to a Toyopet Crown,
Yes.
like they're right next to each other.
But there's,
That-
I mean, yeah. I mean,
If you were walking,
the amount of acceleration and technology and just change in that short amount of time. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's ever been rivaled.
I've
by
never
anyone.
seen anything like that, and I think that's just.
I
the
mean, I
coolest
know
thing
they
on
made
earth.
the 8 Series and the E30 at the same time for a little while. That's
It's
pretty
kind of
intense,
the
but-
same. Like but the thing is, if the E30 was just the base model 318,
Right. And it wasn't. It was like
Yeah.
the high option convertibles
And
with
ev-
the early 8 Series.
even that's like
Right.
still a
Right.
big jump because this is like
it is.
like I don't
Oh, it's a car designed in '83 with alongside the first CAN bus
Yeah.
drive-by-wire car.
I can say that I'm fairly confident this truck only has rear brakes because I'm pretty sure the Austin 7
You
only had
don't
rear
need the
brakes.
front ones. Look at go-karts.
Yeah, it's true. But at the same time, Nissan had like a Giugiaro, or Prince had a Giugiaro designed
God, I feel
like
dirty
sport
saying that.
coupe, and Toyota had a 1.9 liter 4-cylinder that made like 80 horsepower, which is
It's pretty good.
in 1957. I mean, 5 years prior to that, that's what Ford was getting out of their V8s. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Which incidentally, I'm looking for one of those.
Yes. Also, if anybody can source,
If anyone
us
has an EAB
yeah.
flathead from a Ford,
a
you
Ford
do let me
flathead,
know.
Yes. Burger needs one
For
for a
thing.
project.
Yeah, something.
It is a secret project that will make the coolest car of all
It's
time.
basically designed to trigger a bunch of people all at once.
Yes, it will. It will be great.
I can hardly wait.
It's going
All
to
right.
be good.
So, do you want to move on to interesting engineering, or
Yeah,
do you have
let's.
something you wanted to? All right. So, interesting engineering. We're gonna stick with weird old technology here.
Yes.
We mentioned last episode
Yep.
straight 8s and V16s.
Yeah.
I want to kind of talk about the straight 8 and
Well, let's.
what was cool about that and why
I don't
they
know if the
exist.
V16 and the straight 8 came first, but I mean they've been around for
The
a
straight
long
8 came
time.
first. The V16 was came right around the same time.
Okay.
So there.
Yeah, because the straight 8, what it was just straight 4, straight 6, and it
Yep.
just made sense to add 2 more on the end
Exactly.
of it. And the straight 8s were around before the V8s. They made more sense, and that's why they were around first.
Yep.
Because the straight 8, you add all the torque of straight 6, but then you just had 2 more cylinders, so you had even more of it.
Going again on the episode 23 topic, more is better.
Yes, exactly. And the thing is they were very popular prior to World War II.
Yeah.
They were very popular prior to World War II, and they were actually around for a little bit after World War II. The issue was Packard really was they were the
I was going to talk about the Buick.
and yeah, Buick as well.
Agreed.
Buick made the straight 8.
Mm-hmm.
The issue was with them, they were so long, and
Yeah.
the crankshafts were so long, the technology just was not there to make them reliable, and the crankshafts would separate in the center.
Yep.
also the vibrations were crazy on them because it was basically
Which is
two
interesting.
4-cylinders put together.
Right. That's true.
They didn't.
The harmonics weren't
They
good.
didn't have the harmonic balance.
And they were odd fire too.
Yeah,
they
they
weren't,
were.
They weren't flat plane.
No,
they were.
they were really rough, and there's a reason the camshafts always broke on them. But
Super cool.
they weren't self-balancing like a straight 6 or a
Straight
5
sixes,
or a straight 5. Yeah. But yeah, the straight 8s would. I think today would actually be a really cool engine.
I agree.
Because we have harmonic balancers, we have the ability to
We have
make
balance shafts. we have
yeah,
forged cranks.
yeah, harmonic balancer. That's what I mean, and balance shaft.
They're very different things.
Well, you know what I mean. Same concept though. Takes care of that vibration. You also have the
All right.
yeah. You also have much better manufacturing technology. You
No
don't
way.
Have, yeah, I know. You don't.
One-piece engine blocks.
You don't have.
Who would've
You
known?
don't have. Actually, those are great designs. But you don't have roller bearing cranks. Most importantly, that's what I'm thinking of. You have, you have high quality internals.
So it's not like a 2-stroke jet ski engine.
No, it's
Okay.
not.
Interesting.
And yeah, they're
Interesting.
really cool that you can actually make them feasibly today. Somebody really should.
Yeah, I mean, Mercedes is bringing back the inline 6. Why not
They
just
just need to do more
do
cylinders.
one better?
If BMW made the 8 Series with a straight 8,
Oh yes.
I'd pay.
Oh yes.
I'd get a mortgage. for that.
Subprime.
Yeah. Oh, I'd get a subprime loan for sure. Yeah, I'll take a 120-month loan on this BMW.
What house are you buying? Number 8?
Number 8? 850?
850 BMW Road?
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Brooklyn Park?
But yeah, so the V16 also came out around the same time. That was
Yeah.
two straight 8s put together, basically.
So not at all exacerbating the crankshaft issues of the straight 8.
Surprisingly, they were decently reliable. At least the Cadillac ones were.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The Caddy ones and the Suzetta ones are the only two I'm aware of.
There was a very good one that came in a really cool fighter plane, and the P-51 Mustang, the Allison V16, which are
I
capable.
meant road going ones.
Well, I mean, those were put into a lot of hot rods in the 50s, which is even more hilarious when you think about
I bet the fuel economy was really good.
they were fuel injected.
Great.
That was cool.
Hopefully it wasn't CIS.
It was.
No,
'cause
no.
It
CIS
would
did
have.
not exist back
It would have been a
It's
mechanical. Yeah, it was a
injection, for sure.
mechanical. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
anyway,
like
they-
the 56 Gullwing 300 SL was mechanical and fuel injection. It wasn't.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's
it
true.
was more
It
similar
was
to
not
Hillborn.
CS, no.
Yeah.
It was it was basically that. But they if you wanted a super fast T bucket, like you put a V16 into it.
Can you imagine that 1,700-pound 35-liter engine
I think it made over 1,000 horsepower.
on like
I'm pretty sure.
the 2x4 frame rails and a Model T?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they.
Oh, dear
they
God.
I'm
It's
sure
bad
they
enough
make
with a
over
small
1,000
block
horsepower
Chevy.
with that.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, brain's exploding right now
Yeah.
because I mean, I can't imagine it either. But I'll tell you what, though, you're absolutely right about about the design. We could in modern time,
Yeah.
we could do this. Now the thing is
Especially if
that
it's
we
flat
must
plane.
be very clear for anyone who's listening that you need to separate what we're talking about with the true V6 versus that W16 and the Bugatti.
V16, not
V-
V6. Yes, that's true. We should
Yeah,
talk about
there
Bugatti.
are other 16-cylinder
Yes.
engines,
The-
absolutely,
the
we
W-
have to be
The
very
W16
careful.
is totally different because that's two W8s.
which were very reliable.
No, they weren't
I know.
put together into a single engine with a bunch of turbos and air coolers and stuff put on them, and they basically are kind of like if you were to crush a car and put it into a square.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they look like. They're disgusting.
Yeah,
looking
I saw
engines.
one out of the car with like no heads on it. I'm like, this thing is like a rectangular bly. It's just
It's gross looking. It's almost a radial
it's like
engine.
50 inches wide and like 10 inches deep.
Now, if they taken another one and put it on the bottom, and made it 32, W32.
An X or something.
Well, no, because that'd be a radial, but at that point, and that'd be really cool.
I want to bring up something here about when we talk about straight 8s and V16s. I want to focus on Cadillac V16. If I remember at the time, I'm not that old, but they came out. They were starting to come out, when the Roaring 20s, when
Yes.
you can
Yeah.
get away with anything,
You could.
and then all of a
Thank
sudden,
you, stock market.
stock market crashed,
Oh,
and you
no.
still made the V16,
Yeah.
which by 1932 really didn't make sense, but Cadillac still made them
Right.
because
it's Cadillac, and I
Exactly.
think that's a
It's an
precursor.
Simply the best.
That's a precursor to Cadillac and the Moyes. But anyway,
right. Yeah, but it's really, but honestly, when you think about it, at the time when they extended the V16, they weren't going to cancel it. But it really didn't make any sense, especially when the economy is falling. But then it's sort of it falls back to something I keep hearing about certain products. Is like, why do you do a car like, for example, the Hyundai Veloster, for example?
Yeah.
Because we can.
yes,
Yeah.
it's
Why?
true.
That's an answer I keep hearing from the industry, and
And I'm
this has
okay
been
with
going
that.
on for years.
I'm okay with a because we can, because that makes
Yeah.
some of the most beautiful pieces of engineering you've ever
Yep.
seen in your life.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much the only modern stuff I like is it because we can't answer.
Yeah, and well, I mean, it's historically that's what I like is, you know, because we can. That's why we made the amazing Duesenbergs I love so much,
Mm-hmm.
and then because we can gave us like all the cool sports cars from the 1950s, and you know the
No,
Porsche-
the 50s were all because fuck you, we're America.
No, I'm talking about like around the world,
Oh,
like
okay.
the dual red cam Porsches from the 50s.
Yep.
Was a because we can.
That was an interesting thing to look at a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Yeah,
That is
that
so
started
many
off.
bevel gears.
Yeah, that was really cool. But that's the because we can attitude makes some of the most beautiful pieces of engineering.
I'm
we've
basically
ever
Rosie the Riveter.
seen. Yeah, yes, you can. But
That was during the war.
that was during the war, so that was kind of
It
there.
deserves a ding.
Yeah, I'll give
okay.
during World War II a
I'm
ding.
still gonna anti-war chime it.
All right. Anyway, so I guess we should talk about one last V16,
Yeah.
which is my favorite post-war V16.
Is this in like a cheese wedge car?
Yes.
Did I mention it just very briefly earlier?
Yes, and
Okay.
I popped it a little bit of a chub.
Thank goodness. Oh, okay, that is actually on the camera. There we go.
But no, it's the Cezetta Marauder V16T, which most of our viewers who are not 1980s Italian car nerds would, well, I guess, 90s.
I think they all are.
Would know it from Gran Turismo 4 before they had Ferrari. That was the closest thing to a Ferrari that you could get. And it was awesome because it was basically two Lamborghini V8s welded together that I think I can't remember. I think they actually shared a crankshaft. They had a custom-made crankshaft.
Probably.
Otherwise, they had two separate cranks, but which would be actually even better because that means just two tying belts, which are probably impossible to deal with.
Oh my god. Imagine trying to find timing equipment for a 3.5 like your Rocco V8 these days.
Because that's what it is. It's 2.35 Urraco V8s, and if I remember correctly, I think they're turbo. To make it even better.
I think you might
But
be right.
that car is really cool because it was designed by this guy named Cezetta. I can't remember his first name. But more importantly, it was funded by Giorgio Moroder,
Okay.
who is a
That's a
early.
great name.
He was an early house music DJ who made a
Oh,
ton of money and
yeah.
decided to make a car. It was great. I
I-
love it.
I went on an like early 90s house music YouTube tangent the other day.
Yeah.
It was really great.
Yeah, Giorgio Moroder is great.
It goes back to disco, by the way.
Oh,
yeah,
it does.
it does
Yep.
go way back to disco. If you if you ever listened to Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, the conspiracy theory program that's, you know, where basically every conspiracy theory about contrails and everything comes from. Anyway, their theme song is The Chase by Giorgio Moroder.
Nice.
The Race is a song by Yellow, which is almost as good.
Chicka chicka.
Also, have you seen the music video for Oh Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a
it's
great music video.
Bump, bump.
All right, so we are going to end on that bombshell.
And on the oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna end on that. Thank you for listening, Randy. Thank you for being on for 2 whole episodes
Yeah.
and wasting your entire afternoon with us.
No, hey guys, it's my pleasure. It's a great honor to be a part of this. So thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you took up Tucker's slack. So.
Yes, you did. Yeah. So
That's a lot of slack.
It is. It is. It is 1 metric Tucker's
this is
worth
a
of
1
slack.
metric Tucker, which is currently around 425 pounds, I think.
I don't think it's that much. I think it's like 390 or something.
You know, it's a large amount.
Well, either way, it's a huge amount.
It's close to a quarter ton.
And Le Mans still going on. So.
Yes, it is. It will be going on for another probably 36 hours. All right. Well, cool. Thank you very much. see you guys next week. Bye
Of
bye.
course. See ya.